If you're a really outgoing person that also likes to tell people what to do, you're going to enjoy this video. My name is Dr. Amber Wright. I'm a communication expert, communication coach, and keynote speaker, here to give you words well said for a life well lived. Today we are back on the couch, hanging out in my lady lounge, having a conversation about understanding your personality type and how to communicate, offering some basic tips with each of the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types. If you've made it this far in the series, thank you for watching. Please make sure that you have subscribed if you haven't already. Welcome back if you have. Let's get into this discussion today. Continuing with my extroverts, talking about the executive and the caregiver. Okay, these are people who are extroverted, obviously, I've said that. But the main thing that they both have in common is organization. They are super organized people. They like to put things in order. They like to tell people where to go. They like to tell people what to do. And they are very task oriented. Now, the executive is ESTJ. So that's extroversion, sensing, thinking, and judging. And where these two types differ have to do with, again, like the others, with how you come to conclusions. So I'm going to go over each one at a time because I think it might slow things down a little bit than I have in some of the other videos, just so that way I can make sure that I'm clear and I'm getting my point across. So when you are communicating with an executive, so you want to make sure that you recognize that they like to be organized. They really appreciate structure and clarity in communication. So when you are engaging with them, you might want to have a couple of main points already laid out. That doesn't mean that you have to over prepare to talk to them, but this is an invitation for you to be clear about what you're trying to say to them, which I hope that all of us are working toward doing. But they really value efficiency. So the executive is just like, chop, chop, let's get to the point, what's going on. But because they value extroversion and interaction, they're going to say that with a smile. And that's why sometimes that T can be a little confusing to people. People with this personality type, I think, might be misunderstood, particularly in the workplace, because they're really charming and friendly and personable, but they, again, are also very action oriented. So they're very much like, okay, let's get to the thing, let's get it done. And when will it be done by? And sometimes people don't like that. They don't like feeling like they're being told what to do. But if you know that that's just a function of their personality, then again, hopefully, like Don Miguel Ruiz says in the book, The Four Agreements, you won't take it personally, because we shouldn't be taking things so personally anyway. Okay, so that's first off. You want to also make sure that you stick to the facts. Again, that T is really showing up here, and also the S. The S in this type has to do with specifics. They are really literal people. They like details and data. So when you are communicating with an executive or this particular personality type, you want to stick to the facts. Try to not exclude your emotion, but tamp it down in a way so that it doesn't impair or hinder what you're trying to say. Because remember, these types of people really value efficiency. They want you to get to the point. They want you to be clear in what you're trying to say. And they want it to feel like organized in such a way that like they can receive it and then respond accurately. So the last thing with them is you want to show appreciation for their leadership and their ability to take charge. They're going to be the one in the group chat saying, okay, let's fire up a spreadsheet. This is cute. Everybody wants to go somewhere. We're trying to plan a trip. But let's get a spreadsheet together. Let's start organizing it. Or if we're having a potluck, okay, Tammy, you gonna bring the mac and cheese. Okay, Angela, you gonna bring the chicken or whatever. Like, they're the ones who are going to organize things. And so instead of taking that for granted in that friend, it can be helpful to make sure that you acknowledge, like, hey, thank you for getting our spreadsheet together so that we can take our trip out the group chat and actually make it where we're trying to go. Okay, that's the executive. All right. You want to be clear, you want to be organized, you want to be efficient, and you want to acknowledge their leadership, but just know that they mean well. They mean it with a smile. They just tend to be very direct and like to tell people what to do. Now, if you also have this personality type, remember, everybody ain't gonna want to listen to what you got to say. Everybody's not going to look to you to take charge. Or you can't always be the one taking charge and then be mad that everybody expects you to take charge. So you want to be mindful of these same traits of your personality so that you are not overextending yourself and that you are not unreasonably frustrated and upset with everybody else because they're not giving you the relief that you might need or that you might be seeking because you feel like, they always expect me to do it. So, well, because you be doing it. So if you don't always want to do it, then you also have to get comfortable with delegation and trusting other people. All right. Next up is the caregiver. This is the ESFJ type. So all of the same things pretty much that I said just now, but some other things that we want to highlight for this type is appreciation, expressing your appreciation for them is also like high on their list. Let them know that you value them, that you value their presence, that you don't take them for granted, and that you see them. Make sure that you articulate, I see the effort that you're making to work on your communication or to nail this presentation that you have to give at work next week. Like, you're trying hard, and I see that. They like to feel affirmed in that way. Make sure that you are communicating warmly with them if you can. If you are more of a T in your communication style, meaning you're really direct, you're really assertive, it doesn't mean that they can't be direct either, but they like warmth. They really value that smile when something is being delivered to them. It's not because they can't like accept the truth or hard facts, but they really like to feel like the person is being considerate in their communication. And so that's important to them. Empathy and kindness are things that they really value. And that's the F playing out in this type, which is in contrast to the T. Remember that people who prefer feeling are your peacemakers. They really value harmony. They want to make sure everybody's getting along. They're gonna plan the happy hour after work because or they're going to put up the calendar of everybody's anniversary date at the job because they really value showing people that they care. That's why they're called the caregivers. So making sure that you see that and that you name that can really go a long way with them. And then respect the fact that, finally, the last tip for them is respecting the fact that they desire harmony. And why you always got to be the one to call the meeting? Or why you always got to bring everybody together? That's just how they roll. That's how they can't help that part of who they are. So when you are engaging with them, you're in relationship with them, whether romantically or platonically or at the job, really focus on solutions with them as opposed to overextending the fact that they are trying to be the peacemaker. Again, why are you always trying to? It's just kind of like, I appreciate that you want to find harmony here, that you want to resolve this issue and resolve it quickly. What do we need to do in order to make that happen? These things can go really far with people who have this personality type. I'm someone with this personality type, okay? I'm an ESFJ, and that's the thing. Like, again, very charming, very personable, but also really direct, really specific. I like the details. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. These are the things that make me a good coach, because the way that I show up for my clients is I'm fully present with them. I'm fully engaged with them. I'm leaning in. I'm asking those thoughtful questions that help guide them to making the decisions that they need to make for themselves. I don't tell them what to do. We guide, a good coach will guide you to what's already inside of you. And I'm also able to do that in an organized and structured way. So I value efficiency. I like getting things done. I'm just less concerned with telling other people what to do. I think what makes up for that is my Virgo. I'm a Virgo, and so perfectionism is a thing. Okay, we like things done a certain way, but I like to be as flexible as I can when it comes to these types of things because I've studied these things. And the thing about personality types and assessments, and specifically with Myers-Briggs, you've got to know that you've got to flex. Okay, we all have traits of both. One you're just more comfortable with than the other. So you've got to learn how to lean into that side that is a little less comfortable for you and being able to find some semblance of a balance between the two, knowing that one will always be more dominant than the other. All right, so that's your caregiver and that's your executive. The ESTJ and the ESFJ folks, your list makers, your organizers, your party planners. I used to be an event planner too, by the way, because again, we love people. We love to, shake and bake and do it efficiently and be concise and have fun at the same time. I really hope you're enjoying this series. I hope that you enjoyed this particular video and that you are getting value out of this. If so, please make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. And don't keep me to yourself. If this was helpful to you, share it with someone, your partner, your bestie, or whatever, and say, look, this lady talked about my personality type. She was spot on. Like, this is what can be helpful to me. And then we can have a conversation about it. Okay. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the last video in this series.